Hello, welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Resident Culture Brewing Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This is a style of hazy beer that they don't normally do. They generally do IPAs, double IPAs, triple IPAs. This is a Hazy Pale Ale, so it's only 5.75 ABV, which in my opinion is right up my alley. I like the lower ABV hoppy beers. It says Hazy Pale Ale hop with Strata, Vic Secret, and Mosaic Cryo hops. And and I didn't say that's Emergency Mediation is the name of the beer. So I have not had this. I didn't try it on tap there or anything. So go into this fresh. See what we got here. So you can see it pours a pretty cloudy, pretty hazy golden color with about a finger and a half worth of pretty fluffy white head. So it doesn't have quite like the super green, like oniony and or garlicky character that some of their beers have when they're pretty fresh, because this is pretty fresh. There is a little bit of a dankness. I also get some peach notes and something like a little like floral almost, which kind of reminds me of like Centennial hop. So it does have a little bit of that green burn to it, but it's definitely pretty minimal compared to some of their IPAs when they're super fresh. It does have a nice bitterness. It's not very sweet at all, which in my opinion is a good thing. It has a little bit of the doughy quality that some of their hoppy beers have, but not quite as much as like the IPAs or double IPAs, which makes sense because it's probably less malty in general. It's just a smaller beer. I will say the body is pretty hefty for something that's like sub 6%. I mean, you could tell if you told me this was a double IPA. Not that it's, I'm not saying by the booze flavor, but just by the body itself. If you told me this is a double IPA, I would absolutely believe it. It has a little bit of like a melon character to it too, which I generally don't like in IPAs. But whenever that, I don't like it if that's like the dominant flavor. But if it's mixed with like some dankness and some tropical and citrusy character, I like a blend of. And that's really what's going on here. Like there is a little bit of there's a little bit of green dankness, but I do get a little some orange peel and a little bit of like peachy tropical notes as well. This is a really nice blend of hop flavors. Just want to look at this again. So Strata, I'm not like too familiar with. Vic Secret, that's excuse me. Vic Secret is closer to Nelson Sauvin to me, where it kind of has that like drying white wine character, but it's not like as clean as Nelson Sauvin. Sometimes I get it mixed up with Motueka. Motueka is a little more, to me, just like kind of like Citra and Mosaic. So I was just drinking a 5% hazy beer from Dancing Gnome, and I was just thinking like I'm so tired of these double IPAs. Like I just want something like this. It's like somewhere between 5 and 6% that almost has like, it's not quite as flavorful, but that's fine. Like I'll take a more simple beer if it's just easy to drink and not as boozy, and it's not gonna mess you up after drinking like two or three. And I was like, oh man, this is a perfect beer for that scenario. And now I'm drinking this, and like this is significantly different than that because that was just Citra. But this is really similar in the fact that it's just like super balanced, really nice malt profile. This one's more bready than doughy, which is more similar to what that beer was. And to me, the hops are almost there just as a counterbalance to the malt. The flavor is, I mean, it's still super juicy, but they're not. It's not very bitter, and it's just a really well balanced, clean beer. I like it a lot. Um, Man, this is so good. Uh, Breweries need to stop. Well, I don't want to say stop making double IPAs. That'd be silly to stop because I understand that sells, but please make lower ABV IPAs or pale ales. I know I did see a brewer from a brewery around here recently, just in a forum that we were discussing, and they were saying that um, people like the dry hopping on the pale ales are almost as much as the double IPA. So, when you strip out what a lot of the costs are the same, and the difference in the cost might make it like a $15 4-pack versus an $18 4-pack, and people will justify an $18 4-pack for double IPA, but they won't do 15 for a pale ale, which, I mean, if there really is market studies behind that, I guess that makes sense why you wouldn't do it. But for me, I'll buy the $15 pale ale before the $18 double IPA any day because I don't really care about like the price per ABV or that silly stuff. I just want a really good tasting beer. So this is definitely a buy for me. I didn't buy this can. I got it. Someone was actually just selling some resident culture stuff that I missed when I was in Pittsburgh for Christmas, so I jumped on it. They're just selling it for cost, which I appreciate, and so I'm guessing, this is somewhere between $4 and $5 a can, but it's definitely worth it. And I was there today. I wish I tried this on tap because if I had, I probably would have bought another 4-pack on top of just having this one can because this is really, really nice stuff. And I even told Tropes at Resident Culture. They had a hazy pale ale on tap one other time, and I was like, you guys need to make more of this. And obviously that wasn't from a business standpoint. That was being very selfish, just saying that's what I want to drink. But his response was, well, it doesn't sell. Or it doesn't sell as well, at least, as the triple IPAs or whatever. So, and I'm not silly. I understand there's an art to it, but I also understand that it's absolutely a business, and if it's not selling and you're not making money off of it, then it's not worth making. So I understand that, but I would just love to see more like 4.5% to 6% hazy hoppy beers. That's really what I would prefer over anything else. So as I was saying, this is definitely a buy for me. Check it out. They're doing a lot of their hoppy stuff I've had recently has been really, really good. So I would look for any of their hoppy stuff, but this one especially. That's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.